It's a brand new season for Tom Fitzgerald and the Columbus Crew. Got striker Brian McBride. Rebound from an injury-plagued 97 campaign. The Crew will be minus injured defender Thomas Dooley tonight. All the more reason for newcomers to step up and provide the Tampa Bay Mutiny with a stern test. The season begins here. And it begins right here on 6 Sports. Welcome, everybody, to Major League Soccer from Houlihan Stadium in Tampa. The Crew against the Mutiny. Tampa leading the series 7-6. It's a busy night in Major League Soccer. The two expansion clubs, Chicago and Miami, will go at it. Meanwhile, Kansas City takes on the defending MLS champion, D.C. Later, Colorado against the Dallas Burn, plus the Battle of California, the Clash versus the Galaxy. But we're concerned with the Crew and the Mutiny. Hi, everybody. I'm Derek Ray, joined by Jay Miller. And Jay, it's fitting that the season for the Crew begins here in Tampa, where they enjoyed so much success at the tail end of last season.
Well, they got the success when they needed it. That was during the playoff time. But actually, during the regular season, the big sombrero here was not that favorable towards the Crew, in that they lost their 2 regular season games.
They certainly made up for it in the playoffs, defeating Tampa Bay 2-0, only to lose to D.C. United at the ultimate stage of the Eastern Conference playoffs. But hopes are high that things will go the way of the Crew this season. A lot of new players to talk about, and we will do just that when we return to the big sombrero with the starting lineups and kickoff. It's Columbus against Tampa Bay. First game of the season for the Crew here on 6 Sports.
This is where I work. These are my co-workers. Those are my customers. And that's me. Employee number 8. I make baskets.
These hands have held a beating heart. These hands have successfully completed over 1,500 open heart surgeries. These hands have turned over 65,000 pages of medical journals. These hands can perform open heart surgery through an opening no bigger than this. These hands you can trust.
Riverside Sports Medicine, for the athlete in everyone.
Major League Soccer presents the MasterCard First Kick 98 promotion. Gear up for the start of the 1998 MLS season and be prepared to save with MasterCard at a participating Champs Sports store. Get 10% off on all MLS merchandise and enter for a chance to kick out an opening game ball or win a trip to France for World Cup 98. It's your call, but make sure you pull out the right card. MasterCard First Kick 98. Call 614-221-CREW to catch the Columbus Crew take on D.C. United, Saturday, April 4th.
Moving to Columbus, we wanted a home builder we could trust. So we asked around. We found out that more people in Columbus choose MI Homes than any other home builder. In fact, many we talked to were second and even third-time MI homeowners. Then we heard that over 98% of MI buyers would recommend MI to their family and friends. That's quite an endorsement. So, what did we do? We had MI build our new home. And now we know for ourselves why MI is the #1 builder in Columbus.
Tonight's game is being brought to you by Adidas, by Huntington Banks, by Grand Riverside Methodist Hospitals, and by Health South. For Major League Soccer tonight here on 6 Sports. Derek Ray along with Jay Miller. And let us meet the third member of our broadcast team tonight, a familiar face and voice. Channel 6 Sports Director who is on the field, Clay Hall. Clay?
Derek, thank you very much. We'll be working the sideline tonight, checking injuries and substitutions. I'll also talk with crew head coach Tom Fitzgerald during the course of first half play as he assesses his team's progress here tonight against the Mutiny. But first, back upstairs for the call of Crew Soccer, only on 6. Derek?
And we're delighted to have you with us here on 6. Columbus in town here in Tampa to take on the Mutiny. A healthy crowd for this season opener as we take a look at the starting lineups. Firstly, for the visiting Columbus Crew, brought to you by Grant Riverside Methodist Hospitals. Mark Doherty gets the start and goal ahead of new acquisition Jürgen Sommer. Doherty, who played last season here in Tampa. There's Brian McBride, number 20, the man you're looking at, who will lead the Columbus attack. McBride helping to rebound from an injury-riddled 1997 season. He missed 18 games and scored for Columbus on only 6 occasions. He's against 17 times in year number 1. Thomas Rovelli, the 38-year-old Swede, will stand between the posts for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. Their lineup is brought to you by Adidas. Rovelli making his Tampa Bay debut, and what a character he is. Wants to keep the atmosphere in the locker room loose. And Josh Keller, surprisingly, the number 17, will try to run the show in midfield. I say surprisingly because he is the first-round pick in the college draft this season for Tampa Bay. Preferred to the Brazilian Gilmar. Paul Tamburino is tonight's referee. In his other life, he's a beer salesman for Anheuser-Busch. They're ready to play in Tampa.
Well, yes, it's been a very, very exciting start of the season. Both teams, they've been waiting to get the season started, long preseason. The really exciting thing for me is Josh Keller. Now, we're 3 months ago, he was playing in a UCLA jersey, and now he's at the big time playing for the Mutiny.
Brian McBride takes up position. A big moment for the Columbus Crew. Year number 3 as they help to build on last year's performance. That saw them make it to the Eastern Conference Championship. Only lost to DC, but a respectable showing. Early touch for Adam Fry, the right back for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. Scott Cannon trying to get his head to the ball. He signed for Columbus this season. Crunching tackle put in. Frankie Hayter, the man who felled Scott Cannon on that occasion. And the free kick is awarded early on by Paul Tamburino.
Well, it didn't take long to show that there's going to be a lot of emotion in this game. Both teams very excited, ready to get going. As you can see the referee here saying that, yes, it was a very hard tackle, but nothing to get too excited about. But they did get the free kick. Here it is on the replay. Frankie gets in. Two-footed tackle there, but did not go over top of the ball.
Referees have been warned to clamp down on excessive force this season. It's something we'll come back to later in our telecast. Adam Fry will take the throw. We'd like to thank Adidas and all our Columbus Crew MLS sponsors for allowing us to bring you tonight's telecast on 6 Sports without commercial interruption. Mike Lapper, who is the free man at the back for Columbus tonight. They're going with a 3-man defensive front. 5 midfielders and the 2-man up front. Brian McBride and Jason Farrell. Mike Duhaney racing clear on the left. For the Tampa Bay Mutiny trying to feed Jacek Joubert. The experienced Polish international striker. It will be a free throw. Mike Lapper leaves it for Mike Clark.
Mike Lapper doing a good job that time giving cover to the marking back in front of him. Was over there to snuff out that penetration ball.
Robert Vargiha trying to impose himself in the center of midfield. Tamburino takes up position. Just underway at the Big Sombrero, otherwise known as Houlihan Stadium in Tampa Bay, Florida. The Columbus Crew in the white shirts with the yellow trim tonight. Frankie Hayter twisting and turning and scheming in the center of midfield. Vargiha comes away with the ball and feeds Ansel Elcock, the Trinidad and Tobago international, on the left. Elcock's pass looking for Brian McBride. Dominic Kinnear intervenes. Kinnear playing for his season. He began with the Colorado Rapids, last year with the San Jose Clutch, and now finding a home in Tampa Bay. Frank Gallup, the Canadian international defender. So much on the pass. Mike Duhaney unable to catch up with the first combination of the team colors.
Well, both teams sort of filling each other out right now, seeing how the matchups are going to sort themselves out at midfield. Right now it seems that Tampa Bay is more concerned about stopping the flow or the interchange of passing of the crew at the moment. So it's going to take a while until this adrenaline runs off and they start playing.
Roy Lassiter carving out a free kick for his Tampa Bay club. Lassiter, the hero for Tampa Bay in '96, scoring 27 goals. He was the Budweiser scoring champion that year, but dropped off to only 10 in 1997. Lambert, the sweeper, feeding the marker, Mike Clark. Former Indiana Hoosier over the top, and Ravelli was able to take commands. Ravelli, Jay, is likely to be one of the real characters of MLS this season.
Well, he is a personality. I mean, he is absolutely silly sometimes. But make no mistake that once the game starts, it's all business. He's a man that loves what he does for a living.
Barzija looking for Ansel Elcock on the flank. Elcock pushed up tonight, effectively a wide midfielder. And the ball goes through for what will be a goal kick. Elcock now has Trinidadian company in the person of Stern John, who is on the bench incidentally. Likely to figure later.
Well, he's on the bench now, but I know Coach Fitzgerald is very happy with him and is looking forward to giving him some time, and I'm sure he'll get some time tonight.
Ravelli finding his time. Told me earlier he likes to be, quote, happy guy. He picks the U.S. to fit in very nicely with that personality. Jason Farrell trying to make the chase and win the corner kick. It is given the first corner kick of this match for the Columbus Crew. Mike Duhaney in on the stop. Jason Farrell reacquired by the Crew in February after they lost him last November to the Chicago Fire in the MLS expansion draft.
It's going to be interesting to see what the Crew does in this corner kick. For sure, you can't keep it tight to the goal because Ravelli has good range.
Robert Barzija will be entrusted with his corner kick.
Try an outswinger here.
All the big players are up. He tries to fire it across, and the downward header. Off the line it goes. And wide of the post. Mike Clark rising up for the challenge. And a close call. Corner kick number 2 upcoming for Columbus.
Well, I tell you, for the first corner kick of the season, that was done quite well. Clark way above the rest of the defense of the Mutiny to get a header on that. And actually, Frankie Haydock saved that one off his stomach, and then Ravelli just tapped it over the end line.
Haydock was the man right on the goal line beside Ravelli. Barzija again for the Crew. Looking for the flag. Farrell is inside the box. Robert Barzija banging the ball off shoulder. And the Mutiny hard pressed to keep that at play. It'll be another corner.
Another corner. I'm sorry, but it's very impressive here that both times their corner kicks did make it to a Crew player. So their timing on the runs is good so far.
Here's Barzija for Columbus. Ravelli looking a little bit at sea, but got a piece of that. So the pressure continues in front of Ravelli. Ryan Mazonoff will take the throw-in for the Columbus Crew. Back to Mike Clark, trying to whip it in. The defense crowded with blue shirts. Now the Mutiny on the break. Can they get the ball to Lassiter? The speedy Roy Lassiter. Ansel Elcock there to tidy it up and quickly switch the point of attack. Robert Barzija straight down the throat of Duhaney. Now Ralston, who has taken up position wide on the left for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. Normally a right-sided ball. Frankie Haydock has that assignment tonight. Ball goes out of play. It's a big part of the story tonight. Let's hear more on that from Clay Hall.
Of a concern. It does crown in the middle. This is a field for football, also the home of the former Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It does make passing difficult as you approach the touch lines. In fact, 5'6" Billy Thompson said it looks like a 4.5-foot figure across the field. New sod was installed a couple of weeks ago after a tractor pull ruined the entire playing surface. It is playable, but a bit bumpy. Back upstairs.
Thank you, Clay Hall. As the Crew try to get something going, McBride looking to get to the end of that. Long ball from the flank. Ravelli able to make the catch. Lively start to the game by Columbus. Lambert tries to make the tackle. It falls the way of Frankie Haydock. How you doing? Jan Eriksson, the number 3. Another joining his fellow countryman Thomas Ravelli with Tampa Bay this season. Here's Josh King. A lot of responsibility resting on his shoulders tonight. The former UCLA Bruin And this time the corner kick will go the way of Tampa Bay. Steve Rosta trying to make the charge down the flank. The Mutiny's first corner following the challenge by Clark.
Actually, that was Mutiny's first penetration into the Crew defense. We do have a player down now. Looks like Ansel. I don't know exactly how he was injured there. If it was incidental contact as he was running towards goal.
Amy Armstrong, the trainer, racing onto the field to attend to the Trinidad and Tobago international defender slash midfielder, Ansel Elcock. While Scott Cannon talks it over with Paul Tamburino. Players had a chance to talk at length yesterday with the referee, Mr. Tamburino.
Yes, it's made very, very clear that they want to clean up the very nasty tackles this year, and for sure, they made no mistake. In fact, in the opening game in the first half, a player was thrown out, and DC United had to play without one of the players.
All the big players are on this time for Tampa. The in-swinger proving troublesome. Dominic Kinnear trying to flank the ball in from the left side. Billy Johnson back in a defensive position. Mark Doherty having to face up to that, playing against his former teammates.
Well, Mark obviously emotionally involved in this game because whenever you go back to the team that you were playing with before, you have your old friends and you want to show well. And he's won a lot of games in this stadium.
Nato takes the throw. Scott Cannon gets his head to the ball. Back it goes to Michael Lambert. He chooses to use Doherty. Pressure from Lassiter. Don't forget to join us for the Crew's home opener against two-time defending MLS champion DC United. That's on Saturday, April 4th at 7:30 at the Horseshoe. The fun begins at 6 in the Northwest parking lot. There's QFM and Channel Z. The party with Bill Hu performing live music. There's 10,000 fans through the gates will see the mini soccer ball courtesy of MasterCard. Only wait for that home opener at the show. To the ball. That's that extra dimension, the ability to take on defenders one-on-one.
Well, Billy is so anxious to play this year as he was riddled with some injuries actually through his whole career. But he looks very, very sharp pre-season. And he's so anxious to get a couple games under his belt. I think he could add a nice dimension to this league. And he takes people on a very good server of the ball. And he has a very nice target.
Well, he's wins for the Mutiny. It's a rematch of the Eastern Conference semifinal last season. Columbus will be victorious that time. Right side shoulder, trying to use all his experience. Josh Keller with the feed. Haydock, trying to race play. First real shot of the game by Frankie Haydock. Racing into the attacking position.
Frankie looked rather sharp there. You know, Frankie's starting in a wide position, but I can see this year already he's trying to cut inside quite a bit. He wants to be more of a factor in that Mutiny offense this year.
Mark Doherty must have been momentarily surprised to see Frankie Haydock opposing him. The Frankie spent 2 years together with the Mutiny. Doherty, if you have recently joined us here on 6 Sports, will meet Jürgen Sommer for the starting goalkeeping position tonight. Sommer, the U.S. international allocated player. He is sitting on the bench. Ansel Elcock, beaten to him by Riley Kinnear. Josh Keller was penalized by referee Tamburino for the tackle on Varzika. Robert Varzica's long raking pass intended for McBride. Erickson gets his head to the ball. Varzika. Mike Clark, width provided by Thompson. Perhaps for the interchange with Clark. Instead he goes infield. The dummy by lays it off. This is promising. Brian McBride. Not his best effort. He was off balance. And a goal kick it is.
Here's a replay of Frankie Haydock. Actually, in the center of the field, he does a nice first touch there to clear himself. But the angle, you know, is very difficult for him to get the right foot around to put it on goal, but put it into the side netting. But nevertheless, Frankie getting to the center of the field.
We have been playing for almost 12 minutes at the Big Sombrero in Tampa Bay. Columbus Crew Soccer here on 6 Sports. Doug Ray along with Jay Miller and Clay Hall. Scott Cannon gobbles that one up. A chance to see Cannon many times last year for the Richmond Kickers of the A-League, the official second division of North American soccer. Before the lead. Elcock beaten to the punch. Adam Fry. goes astray. Just to update you on what's happening elsewhere in MLS, Kansas City with a 1-0 advantage on DC United. DC, the defending MLS champs, got off to a flyer last week with a 2-0 win at the expansion Miami Fusion. Fries pass. Misses out Frankie Hayden. And through will be a throw. Adams Mark, the Hotel of Columbus, and the official host hotel of the Columbus Crew, offers a special crew fat rate of $89. Featuring luxurious accommodations in the center of Columbus. Call 614-228-5050 for reservations. Certainly my hotel of choice. Well, I'm in Columbus. Mike Lampert looking for the flank by McBride. Jason Farrell storming his way into the box. Almost a favorable Crew bounce. Elcock. Hato gets there first. Hato has terrific speed and has worked significantly on his technique during the offseason. Varjija actually puts the ball out of play intentionally because we have an injured player inside the box. It's Duhaney.
I don't know how Duhaney got hurt there, but the play so far here, I guess we're about 15 minutes into the game. And, oh, here we have a replay. Here's Michael running it down. Actually was run into by his own player.
Jan Eriksson was the man tracking back.
Yes, it looks like they may have hit hips. Could have just knocked the wind out of him. Seems to be okay, a little fuzzy. Got to shake the cobwebs out a little bit. As I was saying before that went in, the Crew is showing very good combination play right now. The Mutiny is fighting very hard just to stay with them. And right now, it's all Crew. I can also say that the Mutiny is playing for that counterattack. They're holding the two forwards up top. So the back three of the Crew are going to have to be aware, even though they have the ball a lot, they must be aware that they can't get countered on.
Billy Thompson for the Columbus Crew. Looking for the aerial threat of McBride. Farrell inside the box. Eriksson heads away, supported by Yalov, the captain. Now Varjija with a weak effort. There it goes for the goal kick. How do you like this 3-5-2 formation for Columbus, Jake?
Well, you know, the only gamble is that you give up a little bit of space on the flanks. But right now, it seems that Coach Fitzgerald is playing to the personality and the strengths of his team. They seem to fit quite comfortably in here. And he did say that if it doesn't work that well, they can slide back into a 4-4-2 without any problem whatsoever. Right now, it looks good.
Yeagley really is the front sweeper. We talked about Lambert being the leaper or the back sweeper, but Yeagley's sitting just in front of the back three and tidying up when necessary. Dominic Kinnear. Here's Yalov. A superb player he has been for Tampa Bay these past 2 seasons. Kinnear. Technical operator. Now Josh Keller comes into the move. And Jober makes himself available wide to the right. Being guarded by Elcock. Johnson Jober looking for the late run into the box. Made by Steve Ralston. The defense does its job. Mike Clark able to hang it clear for the Columbus Crew. McBride darting his way down the right, trying to keep it in play, but Frank Yalov steers it out.
You haven't seen too much play by Brian Mazanoff so far, but there's a reason for that. Josh Keller is all over him. I think he's the assignment for at least the first half.
Duhaney slides it forward. Mike Doherty coming out of his box. A short feed to Lampert. Mike Lampert, who joined the club last June after a stint in the English First Division with Southend United. Scott Cannon.
Yeah, those three boys are still standing on the board.
Back it goes to Cannon. A touch over the ball. That's Hayden. The referee lets play continue. And Fry. Cannon and Lampert together. Who did the ball come off last of all? Came off Fry. And a goal kick it is. Well, earlier we saw Ansel Elcock go down injured. He is back in the game. More on that story. Clay Hall on the field. Clay?
Derek, thank you very much. He sustained a Charlie horse top of the hip. He was kicked when he went out of bounds. Now, Ansel did request a change of shoes. He's gone to a softer cleat, complaining that this field is too hard. So it does come into play early.
And that, I think, is a common complaint.
Well, you would think with all the rain that's been around here that the field would be a bit more moist, but it's not. Obviously, the texture of the ground really goes down quickly.
Troublesome initially for the Tampa Bay defense. Varjija gets stuck in. Now Elcock. Good pass. Farrell has McBride in the middle. Then Farrell supply the accurate cross. Blocked by Yalov. Back to Elcock. Crashing drive. Haydock scrapes it clear. Now Varziha, wobbling shot. And no real danger for Thomas Ravelli. We mentioned it's a busy night in Major League Soccer. We saw Kansas City leading 1-0 earlier. Well, that has changed in a hurry. It's now 2-1 Wizards. A plethora of goals in the first half there. And that game kicked off at the same time as this one. Tamborino getting the free kick to the Mutiny. Joubert. Josh Keller, the combination. Comes out on the side of Columbus. Lapper knocks it off Keller. Adam Fry. Joubert with a deflection on Elcock. It will be a Tampa Bay throw. Not too many clear-cut chances to speak of thus far. The one surging run by Haydock. Hit the side net from the right angle of the box. And here's pass. Delaney. Got a left rip. It took a deflection. And that will be a corner kick to the Tampa Bay Mutiny. Their second of the match out on the left.
Well, you can certainly say that the outside backs for the Mutiny are not shy. Both of them trying to get into the attack. It's whether or not Klenier and Keller can sustain the combination play in possession to give them time to get forward. When they do, this Mutiny team can be very dangerous.
Dominic Kinnear will take the corner kick for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. Roy Lassiter is on the goal line. Masonoff back in a defensive position. Here's Kinnear's effort. The flashing header. Wide it went. Erickson was inside the box.
Across the goal now. Goal kick.
To the ball. Todd Yeagley takes out his position.
This Thursday marks the beginning of a rivalry to put all others
right in front of the goalkeeper. He has to be very careful. He cannot move to impede the action of the goalkeeper. But he's in a tight baby spot. Sometimes they do that and play the ball nice and tight.
At halftime, down at Elcock Stadium in Fort Lauderdale.
Elcock into reverse gear.
0.
Lets it go. Doherty scrapes it away for the Columbus Crew.
DC United 2-1.
Trying to joust for the hit challenge. No goals to date, with almost 20 minutes on the clock. Just under 25 left in the first half. Here's Cannon. Elcock now comes into the mode into Columbus. Varziha in the center of midfield. Grounded all the way by Ralston, who has changed wings. Now Masonoff. Intelligent ball to the left side. Brian McBride will settle for the throw-in.
I think the more the crew can find Brian, the better off they're going to be.
McBride's quick down throws. He tried to catch the Tampa Bay defense off balance. But it goes through for the goal kick. There's scoreless in the battle of expansion franchises. Chicago and Miami. That game being played at Lockhart Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. 20 minutes on the clock. Composed start here by the Crew.
Yes, they seem to be played in quite well. Their combination play, their assignments, they're flowing quite well. The only danger they have is obviously those marquee players that the Mutiny have. They're going to have to keep attention to the Rostons and certainly to the Lassers.
Good conduct field by Jan Erickson. Goes out of play right at the corner flag. Mike Clark will take the throw. Clark has been working very hard on his technique. And sometime in the offseason to buy Leverkusen in Germany. Lassiter trying to bounce inside the box. Back goes Clark. Gives the ball away though. Ralston's there. Lapper springs it high into the air. Josh Keller trying to win the aerial challenge for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. Keller's an experienced shot. Closing challenge on the Polish veteran Robert Varziha.
A little bit of frustration will be there more than anything else, but really not that bad of a tackle. If he couldn't get it, now he at least gives his team a chance to get back. There it is. Yeah, Garcia had good position on the ball, and that was just a frustration foul.
As part of the MasterCard First Kick 98, you'll have the opportunity to meet members of the Crew at Champ Sports location in City Center Friday, March 27th from 7 until 9. Purchase any MLS licensed merchandise with your MasterCard and receive a 10% discount. Varziha. Todd Yeagley gets involved. The backward pass this time to Mike Clark. Very healthy crowd for opening night here in Tampa Bay. The touch by Clark.
That's good composure at the back, I tell you. They're playing with a lot of confidence at the moment, the Crew.
Try to frustrate the Mutiny just at the moment. Lapper's there. There's no Thomas Dooley tonight. Calf injury costing him his place in the starting lineup for this week anyway. Ravelli canters up his line. Ravelli actually second on the all-time world caps list. Caps pertaining to the number of appearances you've made for your national team. He has 143 appearances for Sweden, only 4 shy of the record holder, the now retired Saudi Arabian Majed Abdullah.
If you're not sure what that means, or even if you know what that means, I'm telling you, that is incredible. That is a lot of soccer, and that's showing some serious durability. And to remain the #1 keeper that long is important.
McBride almost getting there and hooked wide. Adam Fry conceding the corner kick. This will be the 4th for the Crew in the first half. Columbus with the 2 shots on goal today.
Oh, it's I'd say they're the most dangerous. They have most of the play right now, but score still 0-0.
It'll be Varzija once again to line up the corner kick possibility. Lapper is inside the box. So is McBride and Farrell. Ravelli stays, and that was a correct decision. Ravelli likely to be a fan favorite here at Houlihan Stadium this season. Back with the Crew again. Varzija. Nita tries to stay with him. Almost a hospital pass by Varzija. Play continues. McBride trying to lay it off. Second on to McBride. What a save.
Clearly the best chance so far. Brian McBride cleared himself with his right foot, but Ravelli sort of leaning that way, using his experience, made it look easy. But that was a very good save by Thomas Ravelli.
A hard shot by McBride, a little too straight to trouble Thomas Ravelli. Still goalless. Lapper being hassled by Lassiter. Billy Thompson has changed wings for the moment, Jay, from right to left.
Give a different look.
Varzija has a good shot on him, and he'll try it here.
Shot wide.
Bullish rifle.
As we replay that last save, the rebound off the defender comes right back to Brian, strikes it with the outside of his left foot. Ravelli flies that way. I'm surprised that Brian didn't use his right foot, but I guess it was on stride, and he had to take it at that moment with his left foot.
25 minutes on the last. We're still goalless. Let's see what Tom Fitzgerald thinks about the match today. He's with Clay Hall on the field.
At least for your team?
Yeah, I think both teams are trying to settle into some sort of a rhythm. The field is 10 yards narrow, shorter than usual, so it's a little bit scrappy right now. Get the nerves out. I think the second half would be a better game.
Scott Cannon got hammered just seconds into the game at midfield. We sat in on a 90-minute session yesterday aimed at curbing violence. Do you think the refs didn't get the message?
Well, I'm not so sure. And Paul may have been screened off it. It was a 2-footed tackle by Frankie, and Paul obviously thought that Frankie got the ball and maybe he didn't see the whole thing. But you know, it was earlier on in the game, and they let it go, and now we've got to come back. We've got to play hard. We've got to get possession of the ball, and we've got to get a ball in the back of the net here before it goes on too long.
Fitz, thank you. Back upstairs.
Angel Elcock commits the foul, and it will be a free kick. What he was talking about, Tom Fitzgerald, was the 2-footed tackle by that man earlier in the match, Frankie Hayden, on Scott Cannon.
Well, that's true, but also the thing that Coach Fitzgerald was concerned about is having this much possession and not coming up with a goal. That can be very discouraging to the team. So he wants the ball in the back of them as soon as they can. They're playing well.
Long ball by Yalla. Body clear. Mike Clark in the center of defense for the Columbus Crew. Dominic Kinnear tries to get in the way. Very scrappy in midfield just at the moment. We remain goalless at the Big Sombrero in Tampa Bay. You're enjoying our coverage of Crew Soccer here on 6 Sports. Always interesting to track time of possession, and Columbus well ahead in that regard, almost 2-1, Jay.
Yeah, it is, and I like the way they're playing right now. But again, it means nothing if the score remains 0-0. If you have this much time on the ball, you must become effective rather than just attractive.
Gannon goes back to Mark Doherty. They use Todd Yeagley, the holding midfielder in this 3-5-2 formation deployed by Tom Fitzgerald. Clark checks. A vastly improved player by Clark over the last couple of seasons. Mazonoff trying to catch up with that.
I like Mike Clark. I think he's a late bloomer. I think he has a nice career ahead of him in the next few years here in this league.
Duhaney takes the throw in for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. A team, of course, no longer with Carlos Valderrama at the controls. He's with the expansion Miami Fusion. Well, they picked up Ravelli. They picked up Eriksson, the two Swedes. Dominic Kinnear now in the center of midfield. Ansel Elcock going infield. Now Cannon. Adam Fry with a tidy tackle. Adam Fry, the preferred right back against Scott Cannon, who was motoring his way down the left flank. Elcock will take this himself. McBride closely guarded inside the box. Flicked on by Cannon. Elcock tries to drive it in. Up goes Frankie Hayter. Cannon with a head challenge. Again, very messy near the box. Lays it off. Back it goes. The big boot in the end by Lambert. And Ravelli says that's mine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was not a shot. He was actually trying to bend that ball out to the right flank.
It is pretty breezy tonight here in Tampa Bay. Unusually windy. The free kick is given to the Columbus Crew. Kids, the Crew Cat Kids Club, presented by Huntington Banks, Adidas, Kroger, Health South, and Grand Riverside Methodist Hospitals, is the coolest club in MLS. Members receive many great benefits like a t-shirt, discounts on Crew tickets, special events with Crew players, and chances to win valuable prizes like trips. Call 221-CREW for details.
If you knew that Ravelli has a twin brother that also played in the national soccer. They were both on the national team for quite a few times. I think his brother has somewhere around 60 or 70 caps. Only 60 or 70.
Amir Bagatelle. Ravelli actually German and Swedish parentage. I think I'm Austrian. Ball bounces out on the side of the Columbus Crew. Barzia's pass. Hangs it off involved as well. Billy Thompson, little Billy Thompson. Good intelligent pass. The danger's on here. Mays it off with a pass. By McBride again. Straight down the throat of Ravelli. But he wasn't picked up.
There are holes in that defense at the moment. The combination play is working very well. But again, you're going to beat Thomas Ravelli. It has to be something special.
The clearance by Ravelli. The story about Mark Doherty really works this way. Doherty let go by the Tampa Bay Mutiny at the end of last season after serving the 2 seasons. He is the all-time wins leader in Major League Soccer. 32 victories. But he was let go by Tampa, and Columbus very happy to pick him up in the waiver draft. I think too many people expected him to be out summer, though, but that's exactly what he's managed to do. He went opening night in Tampa Bay. Josh Keller for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. Width provided by Fry. Adam Fry's awkward cross. Over the hand of Lassiter. Columbus with 4 shots. Tampa Bay yet to register an official shot, although the Hayduk efforts would, I think, come close to being a shot.
Well, I tell you, you're talking about that the goalkeeping situation. How many teams in Europe would love to have Jürgen Sommer sitting on the bench? They'd like to have him in the net. So certainly I would say that the Crew arguably would have the best tandem of goalkeepers, you know, in the whole league.
We talked earlier about the 90-minute briefing held by Joe Matnick of MLS and referee Paul Tambolino yesterday. A very informative session, free discussion about what MLS really hopes to do this season. And the bottom line is to stamp out excessive force. Certainly 2-footed tackles would come into that category. Tackles of no tactical significance. We watch Brian McBride lay the ball off, and referees have been told in no uncertain terms, if in doubt, show the red card. Don't hold back. Same applies to offside. If in doubt, keep the flag down. So that was the FIBA directive 4 years ago, mind you.
Well, they're continually trying to give the advantage to the offense.
Ruin Columbus.
Billy Thompson weaving pretty patterns for the visiting Columbus Crew. Mike Duhaney tracks back and concedes the throw.
Ruin Columbus.
Duhaney, very speedy left side. Speed, one of the big keys for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. They possess that quality in abundance. Mike Clark with a cross. Farrell beaten in the air. Adam Fry was attending to him. Elcock's pass. Scott Cannon was making the overlap. Now he has to race back into his defensive position.
It is a good battle. No one backing off either.
No quarter asked or given. Nagley's pass. Mays it off. Duhaney with a sliding tackle, and he gives up a free kick.
Good opportunity here.
Billy Thompson taken out of the play. Let's see what they can conjure up. The referee stopping the clock. And let's see if he administers the card. Now there's a card. It looked like a red one for the moment, but Paul Tamburino says, hold your horses. Yellow card.
Did you see Steve Ross and the rest of his teammates going, oh my word, please get the right card. Let's take a look at this. All right, he didn't slide through him completely, but for sure it does warrant a card on that one. Absolutely.
Just after we had said, if in doubt, show a red card. I don't think Paul Tamburino was truly tempted to produce the red one, but we were worried just for a second.
Yeah.
Paul Tamburino, a FIFA referee's assistant, runs the line during international matches. So the first caution of this game goes to Mike Duhaney of the Tampa Bay Mutiny. There's the free kick. Varziha and Mazanov at the controls. Elcock it is. Looking for the grind in the middle. Ravelli comes off his line and effortlessly makes the grab. Jacek Jober, who hasn't really been involved very much at all in the early going for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. And closely watched by the Columbus defenders. Jober's cross. Lassiter's in the middle. Haydock's there as well. Back it comes. Dominic Kinnear with a bouncing shot. Not a bad effort by the veteran, former U.S. international midfielder.
This is supposed to be Dominic's job. He's supposed to control the midfield, and he's supposed to provide that service to those two forwards. And both those forwards, if they're free, they can score goals. But they haven't been able to hold the free combination play, hold possession long enough in midfield, so that those forwards can time the runs to receive those balls into spaces.
The best section to watch a Crew game is the Adidas section, and you can be a part of that by purchasing official Adidas Crew replicas at selected retailers around Central Ohio. Call 614-221-2739 for information. Elcock charging his way down the left. Haydock in hot pursuit. Haydock with the challenge. And referee Paul Tamburino intervenes. And there'll be a card here, a yellow one for Haydock.
Yes, and I think if he would have been just slightly more forceful, that would have been a red, because that was a tactical foul there in which he had no chance for the ball. Let's take another look at it. He's going to chase him down his sideline. The ball's touched away. All right, he did go for the ball there, but he was considerably late. But no need to slide there.
Varziha with a free kick. McBride inside the box as they appeal for the corner kick. They will get it. Corner kick to the Crew. Their fifth of the match. With 11 minutes left to go in first half play. Still goalless here at Houlihan Stadium in Tampa Bay. Jason Farrell making way for Robert Varziha. Haydock guarding the back post.
Well, he saved one off that back post last time. They tried near post, far post, and driven the ball.
There's the corner kick. Ravelli again able to field Varziha's efforts. Very impressed with Ravelli in this first half.
Well, he's playing himself into the game quite well. There's an offsides there.
Lassiter and Jober charging forward. The flag was raised.
You know, many times when a goalkeeper gets a chance to handle the ball quite a bit, he really gets his timing and gets into the flow of the game and becomes more difficult to beat. And thus is the case for Ravelli so far.
Ravelli now 38 years of age. This is his first season in Major League Soccer. Very happy to be here because of the weather. He's emphatic about it. He wanted to come to Florida. Wasn't interested in New England or New York or Columbus. The pass by Mazanov, working the combination to Todd Yeagley, the holding midfielder. Now Scott Cannon. Very composed turn by Cannon, scoring it up to Elcock. Very astute pickup by Tom Fitzgerald. Scott Cannon in the supplemental draft. 7 rounds this season. Brian Mazanov trying to take the throw, but the referee Paul Tamburino giving it the other way.
Scotty Cannon actually played the very first year in the league for Colorado. That was not a good experience. That franchise had difficulty winning. Actually ended up last, but ended up in Columbus and is very, very happy to be there.
The throw actually taken from the wrong spot. Elcock will get another chance to roll it in. Here's Cannon. Took a favorable bounce from McBride. Has support on the right in the person of Billy Thompson. Thompson going to the cross, the deflection, McBride's header! Sneaking into the middle, unmarked. And a right there from Brian McBride.
I tell you, Mr. Erickson has his hands full with Mr. McBride. Erickson very, very experienced, playing in Europe for quite a few years. But McBride, very successful in getting his head at the end of those passes.
Erickson and Yallop are the two central defenders for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. Working very hard to keep up with Brian McBride.
I know what Coach Fitzgerald's looking at right now. It's that clock. It's 8:26, and his team is dominating. And he also sees below the time the score 0-0.
That's the most important stat of all in a soccer game. And the stat that really merits discussion. Laston's pass. Lassiter is drifted out wide to the left. Unable to keep that at goal. They're taken by Mike Clark. Pass it all the way back to Thomas Ravelli. Cautious beginning to this match by the Tampa Bay Mutiny. There's a different look for them without Valderrama. So much, Jay, used to go through Valderrama for the Mutiny. Now, a different look.
Well, it's altogether different now. As you can see, it's more direct soccer. It's becoming more individualistic now than normal because they haven't really found their combination play and how they're going to work together. But with Carlos Valderrama, when he's on your team, he dictates how your team plays. That can be advantageous, but some people feel not.
Gannon chasing back and is able to get to the ball just ahead of Jacek Gilbert, the Polish international.
That is the situation that the crew needs to be very, very careful with. Just that quick ball over the top.
Duhaney's feeds. Adam Fry makes the chase. Lassiter is taking up position on the edge of the box. Hayduk makes himself available, playing as a right midfielder this season, but the move breaks down. Let us send it down to the field once again. We'll hear from Clay Hall on the subject of some of the newcomers this season for the Columbus Crew. Clay?
Top defensive team last year, but they did have trouble scoring goals. Look for Stern John to provide some instant offense in the second half. He was the top goal scorer for the team in spring training. He is a flashy player, instant offense, and Tom Fitzgerald expects something big from the 6'1" striker from Trinidad. Early in the second half, you'll see Stern John. Defender Thomas Dooley not on the field tonight. He's been hampered by a calf injury and just recovered from a hamstring pull, in fact. And also, Jamaican Andrew Williams, also an offensive threat, won't be able to join this team until after the World Cup. He's a top player as well.
All right, Clay, thank you very much. Clay Hall will be with Tom Fitzgerald at the conclusion of this first half. A first half that remains goalless. Cagey first half, it would have to be said. The team's not gambling unduly or unnecessarily. Erickson with a decisive header. It bounces off the head of Dominic Kinnear. Now Mike Duhaney for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. His pass broken up. Billy Thompson. Taken away, Varzija. Predominantly wide on the right last season with Varzija, but more of a central role for him in '98. Lays it off. Former winner of a Furman Award in 1994. Soccer's equivalent to the Heisman Trophy. Extends to so many of the Columbus Crew players. Varzija with a bit of space this time, riding the challenges, lays it off to Elcock. Couldn't do so accurately. Elcock does well to keep it in play. Ansel Elcock from Trinidad. Now Varzija from Poland. The deflection off Keller that time. Corner kick to Columbus. They're sixth of this first half.
Well, Varzija finding lots of chances to shoot, but quite frankly, he's off the mark. He hasn't really caught one square in the center of the foot and the center of the ball all evening.
As that rifle hasn't been hitting the bullseye. Ravelli, confident and composed, takes up position. Varzija's corner. Yallop clearing it away only as far as Scott Cannon. Cannon opposed by Keller. Not a bad cross by Cannon. Clark ghosting in at the back. How on earth did he break free? Erickson was the covering defender. Ravelli relieved to get a piece of that. The outside flag is raised at the other end. Good late run by Clark.
Yes, it was. I was surprised that he could get that close to it. I think so was Erickson, but Erickson kept good body position, not allowing him to run at the ball. That's the experience of all those years playing.
Well, honors to the Columbus Crew here, certainly in terms of possession, composure, against the Tampa Bay team that has really had to settle for relying on the counterattack. Mutiny trying to win the ball in midfield is tackled by Yeagley. Free kick. Now Jober. Jober and Yeagley together. Down goes Jober, taken out by Masonoff. Free kick. Tugged by Brian Masonoff. Referee Tamburino will have none of it. Adam Fry trying to go to the byline. Scott Cannon takes no chances and concedes the Tampa Bay corner kick, their third of the match, Jay.
Again, the outside back of the Mutiny getting the whole way to the baseline. Adam Fry, just off the baseline, was ready to pull that one back and had to be cleared over the end line. So another chance for the Mutiny here late in the half. About 3 minutes and change left.
It'll be Dominic Kinnear with the outswinger, the low one this time, and Lassiter almost with the chance. He's done nothing in the first half. Had the gilt-edged opportunity but could not convert. Now Keller, the high, hopeful ball. The defender's still in position. They get that away. Clark scoring header. And that was typical Roy Lassiter in the sniper's position. But for once, he couldn't put it away.
Oh, he'll see that one in his sleep tonight. He was laid out there. It was not as hard or as difficult as it may have seemed. He had the whole goal to shoot at there, but Darty held his ground, and they could not convert. Surely their best chance so far.
That goes down as a major let-off for the Columbus Crew. 2-2 in that entertaining match between the Wizards and DC United. And being played at the same time as our match here in Tampa Bay. Brian Masonoff trying to steady the Crew ship. Mike Clark. The ball for a walk on the right. Clark slipping at the vital moment as he tries to get toward the byline. But the challenge by Duhaney was of an illegal nature. Free kick.
Well, if ever you want to score a kick, well, or if ever you want to score a goal, they're all good, obviously. But right before half can be the killer.
Here's Billy Thompson trying to fire it across. Jason Farrell's there. So to Masonoff. Masonoff with the cross. Not a bad one. Might come back for Varziha. All the big players around it. Cody McBride, and Brian McBride buries it. Ravelli beaten. McBride scores the Crew's first goal of the '98 season.
Excellent work by Brian McBride to find those holes. Just skimming himself in between those seams, just on sides. And he made no mistake on this one. He had much too much time to bury this. Here's the ball in from Billy Thompson. Look,
was he offside?
Was he offside? That's a good question. But he made no mistake burying that one. Ravelli not having a chance. Let's see if we can see who's offside. It's a different angle. You really can't see it from that angle. He prepared the ball beautifully and just put it right by the far post. Ravelli not even able to go down for it.
Brian McBride with his first goal of the season, the first Columbus goal of the '98 campaign, and no one can say that they don't deserve it. The first half is ebbing away. We have only 1 minute, less than that, left to go.
Talking about that perfect time to score a goal. They did it.
McBride able to beat Ravelli, did not even offer a save as the offside flag is raised against McBride. But his goal is the difference between the two teams. A question mark, though, as to whether that might have been offside, as Billy Thompson played it in from the flank. The seconds ticking away in this first half. Columbus with the advantage. And just about do it. Perhaps time for one more Tampa Bay raid. Josh Keller gets tangled up. Our clock is actually at odds with the official stadium clock. It still shows that we have 13 seconds left to go. Here's Varziha. Surely no time. 5 seconds. Changes gears. Down we go to 2 to 1 and to 0. And that will be all for the first half here at Houlihan Stadium in Tampa Bay. Brian McBride delivering the goods as he has done so often in the past. A lethal finish 1 minute from halftime.
It was a beautiful goal. Question whether it was offsides or not. Didn't see a lot of dissent though by the defense of the Mutiny, but they had clearly beaten. A lovely touch of a pass in there by Billy Thompson, and Brian McBride finished it like a pro.
Let's see what Tom Fitzgerald thinks of it all. He's with Clay Hall down on the field.
Derek, thank you. The crew led in shots on goal, and you finally converted one.
Yeah, we finally got one right toward the end, and I'll take that. Just before halftime, it was kind of rugged, you know, back and forth both ways. We had some chances, they had a few chances, and we're lucky to get the goal right toward the end of halftime.
That was Brian's first regular season goal against Tampa Bay. Perhaps that's an omen.
It's a good way to start here in the first game of the season. We'll take a 1-0 lead. We need to come out and play better in the second half, though.
Tom, thank you very much. All right, good luck to you. Back upstairs.
All right, Clay, thank you very much. Our halftime score, Columbus 1, Tampa Bay 0. Courtesy of Brian McBride in the 44th minute here at the Big Sombrero.
Where else, by George, at the Auto Mall?
I like a rugged ride. Lots of power.
That's a Zuzu, by George. At Hatfield's Auto Mall, get off the pavement in a 98 Rodeo, only $199 a month. Enjoy spring days of the 98 Amigo, starting at $15,995 or $239 a month. Or pick up a rugged truck, the Hombre's just $99.95 or $149 a month.
Hey, where'd you get that brand new car?
Where else, by George, at the Auto Mall?
I-270 and Georgesville Road.
We've got a lot of things from Best Buy. You should make our house a Best Buy house.
Ma'am, we're the Best Buy Residence Evaluation Team.
Come on in.
In order to declare your house an official Best Buy house, we're going to need to take a look around. Is that okay, ma'am? How would you classify this selection?
Large. I needed a scanner and a fax machine.
Surround sound?
Yes.
Congratulations. Here's your plaque.
Thanks.
Here's your certificate. And if you'll initial right here for the optional yard sign.
The optional what? This is a yard sign.
The Best Buy house. Now that's a great idea.
It's so big.
It's going to cost $160.
I'm a little short on cash. Can I pay you next week on payday?
Lady, I'm a mechanic, not a bank.
It's hard to always be able to cover those unexpected expenses. When you need extra cash, National Cash Advance is the answer. We will cash your personal check and hold it until your next payday. It's quick and there's no credit check. When your payday's too far away, think National Cash Advance.
Got the cash.
Great.
March is here, and you know what that means.
March Madness. Spring break. Christmas.
Austin! Nope, it's time for the biggest automotive sales event in town. It's the annual spring event going on right here at Germain Toyota.
And this year, we have more new Toyotas than ever.
So we're marking them down more than ever. Let's show them, Dad.
We've got hundreds of Camrys discounted up to $3,500.
$2,200 off girls, and you've never seen so many.
Tons of foreigners, up to $3,500 off.
So now you know what March means.
More Toyotas than ever.
For less than ever.
Old St. Nick's coming.
Austin!
Can't blame a kid for wishing.
Riverside Sports Medicine, for the athlete in everyone.
These hands have held a beating heart. These hands have successfully completed over 1,500 open heart surgeries. These hands have turned over 65,000 pages of medical journals. These hands can perform open heart surgery through an opening no bigger than this. These hands you can trust.
Major League Soccer presents the MasterCard First Kick 98 promotion. Gear up for the start of the 1998 MLS season and be prepared to save with MasterCard at a participating Champs Sports store. Get 10% off on all MLS merchandise and enter for a chance to kick out an opening game ball or win a trip to France for World Cup 98. It's your call, but make sure you pull out the right card. MasterCard First Kick 98. Call 614-221-CREW to catch the Columbus Crew take on DC United Saturday, April 4th.
Hey, there is the halftime score. Columbus leading Tampa Bay by a score of 1-0, thanks to a goal by Brian McBride. A busy year in store in Major League Soccer. Major League Soccer presents This Stuff Kicks. In 98, everyone will be gunning for DC United as the team to beat in the Eastern Conference after winning MLS Cup 97, their second championship in as many years. Meanwhile, in the Western Conference, the Wizards will try to raise their success to a new level with the magical left foot of Frankie. But in Columbus, the Crew will be counting on defense by Dooley and attack from McBride. The players are ready.
I think we can do really well this year. I think that if we can put together a season where we don't have a slump, during the mid-season, I think we could finish with a really good record, first or second place in our division, and then go from there. Obviously, we want to go another step, beyond where we were last year in the playoffs, which would take us to an MLS championship.
Keep an eye on Billy Thompson and the rest of the crew as they take on the Eastern Conference. MLS, this stuff kicks. We've reached halftime in Tampa Bay. 1-0 Columbus is the score. And our coverage will continue here on 6 Sports after this.
Thank you.
This is where I work. These are my co-workers. Those are my customers. And that's me. Employee number 8. I make baskets.
Major League Soccer presents the MasterCard First Kick 98 promotion. Gear up for the start of the 1998 MLS season and be prepared to save with MasterCard at a participating Champs Sports store. Get 10% off on all MLS merchandise and enter for a chance to kick out an opening game ball or win a trip to France for World Cup 98. It's your call, but make sure you pull out the right card. MasterCard First Kick 98. Call 614-221-CREW to catch the Columbus Crew take on DC United Saturday, April 4th.
These hands have held a beating heart. These hands have successfully completed over 1,500 open heart surgeries. These hands have turned over 65,000 pages of medical journals. These hands can perform open heart surgery through an opening no bigger than this. These hands you can trust.
See that? That clock is ticking. That means you only have so many hours, minutes, and seconds left to get a great deal on a Mitsubishi Eclipse during the Eclipse Countdown. For a limited time, you can lease a sporty new 98 Eclipse RS for just $229 a month for 42 months. At $229 a month, these Eclipses won't last, so you don't have much time. Your Eclipse is waiting for you.
I came back for seconds, and now it's time to really enjoy this deal. I always want more. And collect for delirious. With more music, movies, sports, and news, and competition. Call 236-1200 to the center table plus 2 premium channels for $27.95 for your first 3 months.
With Coaxial, you'll enjoy exclusive channels like TV Land, MSNBC, Romance Classics, and the Indians on WUAB. Coaxial will even throw in a free 12-inch Subway sub.
Coaxial's more cable TV for your money. Give them a call.
Before we built one part for the new Dodge Intrepid, we built the whole car digitally. That way, we were able to test more than 2,000 engines, numerous suspensions, a multitude of seats, and a vast number of headlamps. The result is 1 in a million. The new Dodge Intrepid. We're changing everything. Again. Lease a well-equipped Intrepid for as low as $289 a month.
The wind continues to buffet around Houlihan Stadium, but the sun is truly shining on the Columbus Crew. They lead 1-0 at the end of 45 minutes, courtesy of a Brian McBride strike in the 44th minute. There's been a lot of talk, of course, in Central Ohio about the future home of the Columbus Crew. With more on that story, here's Channel 6 Sports Director Clay Hall once again. Clay?
Derek, thank you very much. That really appears to be the burning question for Central Ohio soccer fans tonight. Where and when will the Columbus Crew find a permanent home for the 1999 season? We put that question to franchise general manager Jamie Roots.
We're currently working very hard to find a home for the Columbus Crew for 99. 98's assured. It's at Ohio Stadium, and we begin there on April 4th. But really, 99 is the question, and we think we have some good opportunities.
Close to the Columbus area?
Yeah, it was very clear from the Dublin issue that afterwards our fans told us they want us to be proximate to Columbus. And so we have several opportunities that we're focused on that are right near the downtown core within about 10 miles, which is really what we think is reasonable for us to not really miss a beat at all moving out of Ohio Stadium.
The failure of Issue 1 and the Dublin vote and the subsequent disappointment don't seem to have swayed your resolve to stay.
Well, our tagline is we're America's hardest working team, and our commitment has remained to stay in Central Ohio, to stay in Columbus.
Columbus. We have established as firm a foundation as you could in 2 years' time, and now we're heading into our 3rd year. That's something we don't want to give up, and we know that our fans, we know that the city leadership, we know that the business leadership in Columbus don't want us to give up, and so we're fighting on their behalf.
You're confident you'll get it done?
We feel good about it.
Thank you, Clay. Don't forget about the next Columbus Crew home game. It happens to be the home opener against defending MLS champion DC United on Saturday, April 4th at 7:30. Now, the fun begins at 6 with a tailgate party in the Northwest parking lot. The first 10,000 fans inside the stadium receive a mini soccer ball courtesy of MasterCard. Also meet Robert Varjinha, Todd Yeagley, Ansel Elcock, Jeff Cunningham, and Tom Fitzgerald at the Champ Sports location in City Center on Friday, March 27th from 7 until 9. Don't miss the Crew home opener against DC on Saturday, April 4th. We've reached halftime at Houlihan Stadium. Columbus 1, Tampa Bay nothing, but was the decisive goal offside. They'll try to provide the answer when we return to Tampa.
Major League Soccer presents the MasterCard First Kick 98 promotion. Gear up for the start of the 1998 MLS season and be prepared to save with MasterCard at a participating Champ Sports store. Get 10% off on all MLS merchandise and enter for a chance to kick out an opening game ball or win a trip to France for World Cup 98. It's your call, but make sure you pull out the right card. MasterCard First Kick 98. Call 614-221-CREW to catch the Columbus Crew take on DC United Saturday, April 4th.
This is where I work. These are my co-workers. Those are my customers. And that's me. Employee number 8. I make baskets.
Here is an easy quiz. True or false? Dodge Caravan is America's best-selling minivan. Good. And right now, Grand Caravan comes with how much cash back? Very good. Now page 2. Check off which features come with this Caravan. Correct. Yet it's still America's lowest price minivan at just, oh, very, very good. So please circle which minivan you want now. Excellent. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
That's it. The money's gone and payday's 3 days away.
Hi, Mom. Grandma called to remind you about Aunt Sally's birthday tomorrow. Can we order a pizza?
I'll pick one up. I need cash today.
When payday's too far away, National Cash Advance will cash your personal check and hold it until your next payday. You get the money when you need it.
Here's some gas money.
Cool. National Cash Advance, the best solution to those short-term money problems.
Faster.
Coming here today.
Bigger. Stronger. Cheaper. Smaller.
Technological breakthrough that we
lighter. Brighter. Gentler.
worked very diligently on this
higher. In the end, every achievement can be defined by one word.
Hope that you...
At AEP, we can help you with your achievement. Just give us the word. Ideas with power from AEP, America's energy partner.
Now, with 3.9% APR for 36 or 48 months, almost anyone can swing a 98 Civic.
Tonight's game is being brought to you by WSYX, by National Cash Advance, by Riverside Sports Medicine, and by Huntington Banks. Derek Ray, Clay Hall, Jay Miller welcoming you back to Houlihan Stadium in Tampa Bay. One goal divides the teams at the end of 45 minutes. Billy Thompson with the cross right there. Was McBride in an offside position?
Very close. You know, I didn't see Duhaney, who was actually off camera there just as McBride was. And see if we can catch it again one more time. Here comes with a left-footed cross from Billy. See Duhaney just to the right of McBride. Very close, but hey, as we heard from the decision of the meeting yesterday, if you're in doubt, keep the flag down. One more time. See Doheny at the top of your screen. Is he keeping McBride on? McBride?
Very close.
Very close. Very close.
But you're right, Jay Miller. That is the directive. If in doubt, keep the flag down. And that is what the far side referee's assistant, Andrew Barnes, did. Brian McBride, grateful for that. His first goal of the season and his first regular season goal against Tampa Bay is the difference between these two clubs. As we get ready for the second half of our Major League Soccer contest here on 6 Sports. The Tampa Bay Mutiny fans somewhat bewildered. The first half stats brought to you by Health Sound. Look at that, a huge advantage for Columbus, Jay, in terms of shots on goal, 5-0. It has been one-way traffic in the first half, albeit it was a little bit scrappy.
It was scrappy. It's a windy night here. The field is a little bumpy, and it is narrow here as well. As you saw, the time of possession was 2-1 towards the Crew. But again, the score is 1-0, and there are dangerous players on that Mutiny team that, given the chance, they can put it, even though they only have the ball half of the time, 1 or 2 breaks, there's experience there that can put the ball behind the goalkeeper.
Mark Doherty, it would have to be said, has really had very little to deal with from the Tampa Bay Mutiny attack. Just the one Roy Lassiter shot. He was wide open, uncharacteristically. Let's hit it. A little bit biting, chilly out there tonight. You see the gloves are out, and that's unusual for this part of the country.
Yeah, they just got them out of the wrappers because they don't use them too often down here in Tampa. And unseasonably cold here.
I'd like to have you with us here on 6 Sports. We should try perhaps transplanting some of these folks in Columbus. It's, of course, it snowed out there today.
You know, I just had that vision of the new stadium going up there in Columbus, and I can see all the crew hats of the actual workers up there. And at halftime, or not halftime, there's my lingo coming through, but at lunchtime, they're kicking the soccer ball around as they built this soccer stadium.
Well, it is, of course, America's hardest working team. Second half is about to get underway here at Houlihan Stadium in Tampa Bay. And the Mutiny with a lot of work to do, a lot of regrouping to do after what was, quite frankly, a miserable first half showing by the Hawk Club. Columbus in control. Tampa Bay has been depending on the counterattack, but very little service for the strikers, Lassiter and Jober, from Kinnear and Keller in midfield. Back it goes to Thomas Ravelli.
There's been a sub look like Gilmar has now come on for Keller, I'm guessing. They haven't formally been announced yet, but I see him running out there, and I don't see Josh Keller now.
Good job, PJ. The Brazilian. Yes. Blonde ahead of Josh Keller, nowhere to be found. And while Todd Yeagley is down right at the start of the second half, referee Paul Tamburino will stop the clock and allow Amy Armstrong, the trainer, to rush out the field and work on Yeagley. Let's see what happens.
There is the foul, another replay on this. So a little grab there. Actually, I think the foul was against Yeagley, and it looks like an arm came up.
He was jousting with Gilmar.
And that will be a matchup in the second half because they fall right into each other. Yes. He tried, Gilmar played the ball, and Yeagley was actually trying to sidestep him, and Gilmar just actually threw his body into him, and it looks like an arm came up and hit Todd right in the eye.
Todd Yeagley patched up, and he'll jog off the field just for the moment, accompanied by Amy Armstrong. Both the trainers tonight are women, in fact. Nancy Martin doing the honors for the Tampa Bay Mutiny.
Gilmar, I expect him to play that position behind the 2 forwards, and that's where Todd Yeagley sits right in there. So those two will probably tangle for a lot of the second half.
Jan Eriksson, the Swede for the Tampa Bay Mutiny, hooking up with the Canadian. Frank Gallo spent 17 years in England with Ipswich Town. Dominic Kinnear. Now Jober. Jober's feed. Good combination. Lassiter on the drive. Flashes wide.
Gilmar had that shot, and the best combination for sure of Tampa Bay so far.
Gilmar getting into a good attacking possession after a nice move. Lassiter for once able to get involved.
Again, that combination playing Lassiter as a point, and Gilmar just floating behind him, one touch passing, and he struck it first time.
Let's get the update on the Todd Yeagley injury situation. Here's Clay.
Derek, thank you. Todd Yeagley with a cut above his left eye. They are applying some compresses now. We're not sure if he's going to need stitches. A.B. Armstrong attending to Yeagley now, trying to stop the bleeding. We'll keep you updated.
You know, the Crew now playing a man down, so they have to be very, very careful now, looking to see if Todd can come back on without using the substitution.
Here's Scott Cannon trying to weave his way out of defense. Gilmar trying to get there ahead of him. Gilbert. Still Gilbert dancing with the ball. Elcock couldn't get there. Lassiter the layup. Gilmar inside the box. Can he finish? Down goes Doherty. Gilmar's comeback. Danger inside the box. And the Columbus defense survives. Duhaney goes sliding in, but he concedes the throw-in.
Oh, very close there. Doherty doing well to force him wide. And
looking
very, very... Oh, yeah, Yeagley looked like they're putting a butterfly on there. They're going to get him back in as soon as they can. So we're smelling blood in the water here, and they're pushing a lot of people forward, having this man advantage.
I think Ron Smith might be the obvious replacement for Yeagley in the event that he's unable to get back into the match. Smith, the utility man, but we're a long way from a substitution yet. Kinnear's pass. Gilmar has made a difference. Kinnear, too much on it. Couldn't pick out Lassiter. Really was a surprise to me, Jay Miller, that Gilmar didn't start this game for Tampa Bay.
That was a surprise. Trying to do maybe a little sort of coach cross-field tactics there, giving the Crew a different look. But it didn't work first half.
The Rapids on top. Colorado against Dallas. The Rapids going all the way to the championship game last season before succumbing to D.C. United. They're on to a flyer in Dallas. Dallas will be the venue for the Crew's second match a week from tomorrow. They're playing the Cotton Bowl against the Bay. The advance of the home opener April 4th against D.C. United. Here's Gilmar with space. Elcock attempting to Haydock. Over the ball line it goes. Haydock thought the decision ought to have gone his way. But a goal kick it is. Todd Yeagley is about to make his way back onto the field.
You saw Roy Lassiter put the ball down quickly because he wanted as many minutes with this man advantage as possible. But Todd is able to get back in here, and he needs to clog that hole immediately.
A valuable Crew member, Todd Yeagley, is filled in at the back and in midfield tonight. The defensive midfielder with a 3-5-2. 1-0 is the score in favor of Columbus. Meanwhile, Dallas has equalized against Colorado. Quick fire response from the burn. Billy Thompson picking up the scraps. Still Billy Thompson knocks it off Gallup. That's scarier than the midfield of Billy Thompson. Has run the quick away by Gallup. Sliding in, makes it up. Trying to work the move with 1-0. Columbus able to keep hold of the ball. The motion of Todd Yeagley has Elcock out wide to the left. There's the pass to the Trinidadian. The slip by Elcock, and Hendrick tries to take advantage. Tampa just unable to get anything done. The misplay by Kinnear in midfield, enabling Mazedoff to pick out the scraps that time.
We saw the immediate impact of Todd Yeagley coming back into the game. That they suddenly came down, the space in the midfield allowed them to hold possession, and were able to regain really the flow of the game.
Welcome back, Huntington Banks and all our Columbus Crew sponsors for allowing us to bring you tonight's action on 6 Sports without commercial interruption. Here's Jober now with a bit of freedom. Haydock tries to cut it back towards Jober and Lassiter. Misunderstanding really between Lassiter and Jober as Cannon comes away with the ball.
They have to be very careful there. Ansel was very slow in getting back. Now he's attacking with the ball, but was too low on defense that time.
Riding the challenges. The run by Robert Marchino. Elcock available inside the box. Elcock charging his way forward into the center. Now a bit exposed at the back. Are the Crew. Will they survive this? Mike Clark. Using Billy Thompson. Thompson's long searching pass all the way through to Thomas Ravelli. Goal for the Tampa Bay Mutiny.
1998 Mutiny season tickets are still available.
The attack that was missing
Enjoy
was
the best
that
seats in the house
ability to
along
keep
with
the
other
ball
exclusive
possession in the
benefits.
middle of the field.
Well, ticket to the
Lamar in there now, that's going to be different. So it's going to make the flank players more effective for the movement. So therefore the Crew is going to have to be very careful, the wide players for the Crew, but be careful that people don't get behind
information about the Crew, including a complete listing of Crew activities. That's coming up soon. Visit the Crew's official website at www.thecrew.com. A priceless source of information from commentators as well. Lassiter in hot pursuit. Did not catch up with the ball. Lassiter simply not at his best tonight, but the moment you say that, he's the kind of player who just a couple of minutes later is likely to bury one. Chicago, the Fire, with the lead at Miami in that joust between the two expansion franchises. The Fire actually have been training down in this part of the country in great to Florida. The build up to the match. They lead 1-0. And it's 1-0 here as well. The Columbus Crew holding the edge, courtesy of a Brian McBride strike. 1 minute from halftime. There weren't any loud appeals for offside, audible on the field, but it was a close call following the Billy Thompson cross on the right flank. Adam Fry looking for Haydock. It's the one man who can change the course of events for Tampa Bay. Kinnear. Adam Fry on the right. Elcock tries to close it down. Elcock given a very ambitious role tonight by Tom Fitzgerald. Up and down the flank, shuttling forward, then back.
He needs to be very careful in that positioning because they're winning 1-0.
Doherty comes off his line and is able to get to the ball ahead of his former teammate, Roy Lassiter.
Saying that the Crew is winning 1-0, it means they don't need to score another goal to win this game. Of course, they would like to, but why allow someone, the other team, to get back into the game by being very lax in their defensive responsibilities? And Frankie is a motor that just doesn't stop. It's a task keeping him under wraps for 90 minutes.
Brian McBride battling for the ball with Jan Eriksson, and the Swede crashed into the advertising board over on the far side. Purely accidental, but the referee, Paul Tamburino, decides to stop the clock in order that Nancy Martin, the Tampa Bay trainer, can make her way all the way over to the other side of the field to work on Eriksson.
Well, that is the one bane of this stadium, for sure, is that wall, that restraining wall, is so close to the field. You try to get the field as wide as possible for all the correct reasons. But that's, I've known in the old days when the Tampa Bay Rowdies played here, we had players who actually sprained both wrists as they tried to break their momentum going into that wall.
Eriksson in no hurry to get up. The 30-year-old Swedish defender has played 35 times for the Swedish national team. His club professional experience in his days in England, Switzerland, Germany, as well as his native Sweden. Sunderland in England, his most recent club.
At college there, but I guess you'll get an education in Sunderland, I'll tell you that.
Indeed. A hardy northeast of England.
Yes, you will. You'll learn to eat lamb, that's for sure.
Your mince pies as well do the body good.
Yes, it will.
Eriksson is back with us. Still 1-0. The chance is on as Ravelli scrapes it away. An open net for Varzija. But Ravelli able to get back, and that was pivotal from the Tampa Bay point of view. A complete breakdown of the back.
Oh, yes, it was very, very close. And Ravelli keeping this team into the game.
A double save by Ravelli. Keeps it at 1-0. Haydock with the throw. Jober has it. Looking for options. Jober confronted by the blonde-haired Scott Cannon. Jober trying to go to the byline. Woeful effort by the Polish veteran. He did take a deflection actually off Cannon, and Scott Cannon is saying, how do you figure that out?
Not agreeing with that one. Nonetheless, corner kick for the Mutiny.
So it looks from here as if it went straight on Jober, not off Cannon, but a corner kick it is. The far-side assistant was better positioned than I. And here with the corner kick, gallops up. Back it comes Haydock, first time. A flag as Doherty comes out and concedes another corner kick.
Jason Farrell very late getting off that back post, and it allowed the Mutiny forward to stay on sides. He needs to get out quickly when that ball's cleared.
A rare attacking chance for Adam Fry that time. Corner kick number 5 for the Mutiny. Here's Kinnear. Applied to corner. Erickson goes up. He's normally very dangerous in the not a inside the 6-yard box. Goalkeepers always expect to get protected in that sort of situation, and that applied to Doherty that time. Free kick, Columbus.
Well, the veterans of the Mutiny team are starting to smell how this game is going to play out. They're not able to keep possession, so how are they going to score a goal to get back in? Well, it's going to be on these free kicks and these opportunities where there's a scramble in front of the goal. There's a replay on it. Frankie Heidel takes a shot. And again, as you see, Jason Farrell slow getting off of that post. And you could see which Mutiny player it was that had that shot. But I noticed on the next corner kick, he comes flying off that far post, not to make the same mistake.
Adam Fry for the Tampa Bay Mutiny, the 24-year-old who was the first Tampa pick in the inaugural MLS college draft in 1996. Fry, the former UCLA pro. Gilmar. Well, nothing going right here in the Tampa Bay Mutiny. Fred Gallup that time acknowledging his mistake. They really are not in sync with one another.
It's going to take a while for this Mutiny team to play into each other with this many new players and certainly a new style.
Yeagley trying to cut it back. They're all racing into the middle. Here's Elcock. Ansel Elcock beaten to the ball, but the danger's not over. Elcock again. Couldn't quite keep it down, and through it goes for the goal kick.
Ansel wishes he had that first one again. His first preparation touch put it much too far away that he couldn't strike it. If he prepares that ball perfectly, he actually could just stride into it and hit it with full force.
Let us send it down to the field. Get an update on the personnel situation with Clay.
Derek, thank you. Changes in the offing for the Crew. Warming up midfielder Rob Smith, a solid, steady player, and the ace out of the bullpen, Stern John, a scoring threat with the sweats off and ready to go here in the second half momentarily. Back upstairs.
Clay Hall down in the technical area besides the Columbus substitutes as they get ready for duty. Expect to see Stern John at some point, certainly. A lot of space in midfield for Mazonoff here. Lots of talented young players. Still Mazonoff. Trying to lay it off for Barzija. The 1-2 combination away by Yalom. He finds an open man in Hayden. Goodness, the Mutiny really look like almost an away team here the way they're playing. Trying to hit on the counterattack, struggling to get players forward and struggling to get anything going out of midfield. Back to Haley's pass. Takes an awkward bounce. Elcock flicks it away. Now Barzija going into reverse gear, just gets away with it. Elcock, Yeagley. John Yeagley playing his 50th match century for the Columbus Group. So here's pass to Shelber. This is better. Ralston, Hager trying to use his speed, but Mark Doherty says that's mine. Now Lapper, the sweeper. What exactly would you expect to see Stern John come into the match, Jay?
Well, obviously, I think you're going to bring him in up front, I would guess. And allow him to take over with his speed.
There's McBride. Play continues. The drive by Mazonoff. Into the net it goes. Mazonoff makes it 2-0. The goal is given. A beauty by Brian Mazonoff. Ravelli is stunned. The referee played advantage initially, letting a bit of foul play go on the edge of the box because it was in favor of Columbus. Mazonoff makes it count.
He caught this full flush. There's Ansel, gives the ball. Watch his preparation of the ball. One step. First time ball. Look at that. The outside of the right foot. Ravelli, not even a chance. Another angle at it. Here's Ansel, and this is where he gets injured. Here's the step in. He goes down. McBride cuts the ball for Mazonoff. Strikes the ball. You can see the ball had no spin on it at all. Ravelli, not even a chance. Beautiful goal.
And beautiful refereeing by Paul Tamburino to play the advantage rule. Some referees would be tempted to blow the whistle. Not Tamburino. Saw that the advantage was forthcoming in favor of Columbus. And Mazonoff gets the job done. He scored only 3 goals all last season. 2 of them, incidentally, against Tampa Bay. So he clearly loves playing against the Mutiny. 2-0 Columbus. And Ravelli speechless.
Not happy with that sequence that happened in front of him. And getting back to Brian Mazonoff, I really feel it's going to be his year. He's mature. This is his 3rd year in the league. He had that great experience with the Olympic team. He was just unfortunate not to score goals, but the comfort on the ball this year, and they're showing that if he's left alone, he can spank it.
Now here's what happened to Elcock as he created this goal. The tackle, Adam Fry there, the defender, chasing back, clipped Elcock, but the advantage rule enforced.
Yes, it caught that left knee, and it looked more like a bruise rather than a twist. It looks like they're being very careful here. But it looked like he got caught on the outside of that left knee, almost like they hit knees. Trying to see if he's holding his arm. You know, sometimes when you don't get a chance to brace your fall, and I see him holding his arm, so it's a possible shoulder separation there.
Let's get an update on that with play. Clay Hall on the field. Are you with us?
Derek, thank you. Sturgeon will play up front. Of course, the injured Ansel Elcock going off, and Jason Farrell moves wide left. Some changes for the Crew. We'll try to find out what's the status of Ansel Elcock shortly.
Well, I can see him holding the arm right now, and I would say it's something wrong with that left arm. Could be a separated shoulder or maybe a wrist injury.
Sturgeon, number 14, actually a distant relative of Elcock. The two-man from Trinidad. Sturgeon, a highly touted international forward. Sparkling performance. The recent CONCACAF Gold Cup for Trinidad and Tobago. 2-0 now in favor of the Columbus Crew. Is there a way back for a Mutiny team that has been sluggish, to say the least? Erickson trying to weave his way out of trouble. We have another injured player down. It's Kinnear. Very gingerly trying to make his way back up onto his feet as Gilmar attempts to weave pretty pattern. Still Gilmar for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. Billy Thompson back in a defensive position. And the defense gets the job done once again. Robert Varzija. The wing-changing pass. A beautiful one for McBride, who's not picked up. McBride charging forward. Still McBride has John in the middle. McBride trying to cut it back, but Erickson is there to get in the way.
Beautiful switching play there by Siaka. Unbelievable.
There's a final, Jay. The Fire defeating the Fusion. Match being played also in Florida at Fort Lauderdale's Lockhart Stadium. 2-0 Fire. So the Fusion off to a dreadful start. 0-2 now in the Eastern Conference. Remember, only the top 4 teams out of 6 in each conference will make it to the MLS playoffs. 52-game regular season. Frankie Haydock for the Mutiny. 16 minutes have elapsed in the second half. Please may join us. 2 goals in this game for Columbus. 1 for McBride, 1 for Maisonneuve. Shelburne lays it off. Here's Kinnear. Dangerous pass, and it works out in favor of Columbus. Sturgeon has blazing speed and good skill. Way off. Looking for McBride. It'll take time to build up an understanding between those two players. Now Lassiter. Haydock trying to use his pace on the right. Couldn't keep up with the ball. Scott Cannon is the marker for the Columbus Crew. Haydock zigzagging his way to the byline. That just about sums up this evening's performance by the hometown Mutiny, Jay.
Well, there's talent on the Mutiny team, but it's the pieces. They're there, but they're not connecting. The dots aren't connecting yet, which is very common for a new team that has rebuilt.
The referee just produced a yellow card that can only have been for dissent as the move built up. I think it might have been Varzija who spoke out of turn. Yeah, Varzija is the man who goes in the book, the first Columbus player to be cautioned tonight. A very strange yellow card. Must have been for talking back.
Yeah, if you're going to get one, that's a shame or something. Get your money.
There is a point system attached to the yellow cards.
It's easy for me to stand up here and say that. I don't have to pay the fines.
Here's Duhaney. A long road back here for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. This is their home opener, but they're not distinguishing themselves at all against the fired-up Columbus Crew team.
They're changing their tactics slightly, which they have to. They're down 2-0, and they've got 27 minutes left to go. Erickson's playing up now in front. They're playing more or less 3 in the back, and Gilmar is pushing well into the attack.
Ralston's pass. And goes Gallup with Stutz wide. Now by Clark, bad ball out of defense. Dominic Kinnear with a snapshot.
Dominic Kinnear.
Excellent effort by Dominic Kinnear, so nearly catching Mark Doherty by surprise.
Well, the defense of the Crew have to be very careful now. There's more people in that defensive third now. They broke pressure in the first half, no problem. But now there's more people, and I think safety first is the word of the day.
It's a loose play by Clark that time, and Kinnear very nearly made him pay for it. Referee intervenes. That's the free kick to the Columbus Crew. Let's get an update on the injury situation as it pertains to Ansel Elcock. Clay, do you have an update for us?
All right, Derek, strained and possibly a separated right shoulder for Elcock, who gave the team a solid 45 minutes in the opening half. Elcock out, strained and possibly separated right shoulder.
Ouch.
Yeah. That's not fun.
Gilmore trying to charge his way over the middle. Out comes Doherty. And the referee has spotted an infringement just on the edge of the box here.
That is close.
A yellow card held aloft. Gilmore trying to make his way through. The second Columbus yellow card of the night.
It's quite clear Gilmore is making an effect on this team, a very positive effect.
Just a little clip on the edge of the box, spotted by Paul Tamburino. Trying to confirm where that yellow card was for in just a moment as they line up the free kick.
Gallup, Lawson, and Kinnear. Lawson, Kinnear there in the screen.
Out it comes.
Look at this.
They try to fool everybody. Lassiter charging through. Duhaney's header. Now Billy Thompson using his hustle and his speed, linking with Brian McBride. Mike Lambert's long pass. And so much space here for Farrell. Has John in the middle. Farrell trying to cut it back. Teaming up with Barcia. The yellow card was for Yeagley. Farther back, the second Columbus yellow card of the night. David's touch. Gilmore. The game beginning to open up much more now.
Yes, it's end-to-end action now. And Jason Farrell, if he could have just held on to that ball, made one more touch towards the center of the field to allow his teammate to get into the right position so the pass could not be intercepted. But again, the Mutiny, they must take the counter as often as they can.
Moving toward the midway point of the second half. Derek Gray, Jay Miller, and Clay Hall here in Tampa Bay. So far, so good for the Columbus Crew. Their first match of the 1998 season. You're enjoying our coverage here on 6 Sports. Gilmore's touch. Gilmore certainly made a difference in a technical sense for Tampa Bay since coming off the bench to replace Josh Keller. Another foul for Rice. There's the referee, Lassiter, take it out of the play that time.
Well, Mutiny purely getting more chances and more penetrations into this offensive third.
Gilmore will be entrusted with it. Look for the late run from Erickson, who has positioned himself left edge of the penalty area. Here's Gilmore, headed clear by Mike Clark. Strong in the air, Clark. Gilmore again. Kinnear. Billy Thompson goes across the cover. Billy Thompson has been changing wings at will.
I tell you, he's has a great game so far. Defensively, he's held out Steve Ralston over here on this side, the near side, and doesn't certainly hesitate to go to the opposite side of the field. Great game from him so far.
Look at this, so much space in the center of the Tampa Bay defense, and somehow Duhaney gets it cleared. With Jason Farrell making the strong run down the left side of the Columbus attack. Everything going to plan for the Crew just at the moment. Actually, Masonoff made that supporting run. As it goes out to the far side to Adam Fry for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. 2-0 is still the score. Goals by Brian McBride and Ryan Masonoff for the Columbus Crew in this game. The best section from which to watch a Crew game is the Adidas section. You can be a part of that by purchasing official Adidas Crew replicas at selected retailers around Central Ohio. For information, call 614-221-2739. Here's Kinnear. Need to switch the point of attack. Stern supporting. The drive this time. Straight into the arms of Mark Doherty.
I'm trying to remember a mistake by Mark so far in this game. He's been clean. They've been through a few times wide and a point-blank sort of lying down side volley by Lassiter, but so far, great game by Mark.
He's had the extra incentive too, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
And against his former club, hard to believe that a goalkeeper who has more wins than any other goalkeeper in Major League Soccer during its 2-year history could be cut. But that fate befell Mark Doherty at the end of last season. He was gobbled up by Tom Fitzgerald of the Crew, and tonight he is preferred to Jürgen Sommer, the U.S. international.
Well, it was a special situation when you had Thomas Ravelli coming on and he was placed to Tampa. Okay, fair enough. And, you know, maybe Mark was eager to go, knowing that he would not get much more time right behind Ravelli.
Frank Kowalski there patrolling the technical area, the coach of the Tampa Bay Mutiny. Have a pretty picture for Kowalski tonight, albeit we still have just over 20 minutes left to go. A lot can still happen in that time period. Frank Yallop with the pass. Haydock now working with Fry. The defenders funnel back for the Crew. And it goes to Haydock. They fire the ball in, headed clear by Mike Lapper, the sweeper. Barzija. And a move out of defense, does well. Lays it off. Yeagley. Farrell is wide to the left. Mason Farrell occupying the position previously. It's held by Elcock. Here's Stern John. It's still John. But a keep control of the ball. Just trying to outrun the Tampa Bay defense. Control let him down.
I think Stern should have pulled the trigger on that one. He had a nice cut to the inside. Good position.
Giving it a go. Away by Yeagley. Erickson has it. Erickson using Jobo the ball. He has Ralston wide to the left. His MLS career as a right-sided midfielder. Now the ball, I think, crossed the touchline. Yes.
He just hasn't looked too comfortable out here on this left side. I know he prefers the right side, and throw on top of that, Billy Thompson just able to mark him stride for stride.
Adams Mark, the Hotel of Columbus, and the official host hotel of the Columbus Crew, offers a special Crew fan rate of $89 to $99, featuring luxurious accommodations in the center of Columbus. For reservations, call 614-228-5050. Less than 19 minutes to go here at the Big Sombrero in Tampa Bay.
It's Tampa.
Still 2-0 Columbus against Tampa as Schober tries to feed Haydock. Doherty chasing way out of his area, collides with Haydock. And the referee is pointing to the spot. Penalty kick coming up.
Oh my.
That will be controversial. Doherty could hardly believe it. It looked like a simple collision with Haydock. But a penalty it is, and a chance for the Mutiny to haul themselves back into contention.
Well, let's see if we can get back to the point of impact. That is what happened after the play. So we may get a chance to see that again, but oh my. Nonetheless, can't change their mind now. It will be a penalty kick.
Watch it again, Jay.
Play. Look, all right, the ball is well out in front of him. Oh, mercy. I thought he's in playing distance of the ball. I would not have called that a penalty kick. I would have not.
Well, Mark Doherty will now try to prevent his former teammate Roy Lassiter from scoring. Can Lassiter cut the lead in half? Here's the kick. And Doherty with the save. But can they follow up? They do. Driven over the line. Dominic Kinnear was first to the ball. And Doherty, despite the initial save, gives up a go.
Well, he did very, very well to get there to make the initial save. It's the job of his teammates to get good position, get their body so that no one can follow up on that rebound.
Actually, Gilmar in on the action as well. As we watch this again, was it Gilmar who got the final touch after Lassiter?
At the top of the box. Must get a body between that attacking player.
No, I was right first time.
Yeah,
it was
right,
Kinnear.
yeah.
It was Kinnear who got the touch. Our camera focusing on Gilmar, but it was Kinnear right here. Doherty was desperately unlucky. So there we have it, a 2-1 game now. The fan is in the fire. But the Columbus Crew will get their 7th corner kick of the match.
It's a different game now, a 1-goal game.
All the big defenders are on. McBride's there as well as Ravelli comes off his line. Perhaps looking for the free kick, he didn't get it. So a tense finish in prospect now here at the Big Sombrero. The Crew have without question been the superior side tonight, but Dominic Kinnear following up.
15 minutes left to play.
Has cut the lead by 50%. Doherty making the initial save from Lassiter, but Kinnear able to follow up from close range. This could be dangerous here. Lassiter, can he finish? Doherty to the rescue. The biggest save of the game, the kick save by Doherty, and he keeps the lead at 2-1.
Oh, that was a first-class save. You don't get it laid on a platter any better than that, Mr. Lassiter. But Doherty quick off his line and makes the skate save. Here it is. He's in, clearly. Left foot tries to slip. All you had to do is play it up over the top of it. But well-read, tactically well-read by Mark Doherty.
Here's Varziha. Now McBride with space. Can he beat Ravelli? The lob by McBride. Duhaney watches it slide by. What is happening with the Tampa Bay defense? So much space afforded McBride that time, Jake.
Well, it's the way the scoring is going in the game. It's wide open. The Mutiny cannot sit back and defend. They must go forward. So it makes it a lot more exciting at both ends of the defense.
Here's Cannon intervening for the Columbus Crew. 16 minutes left to go. McBride again. Looks to can he finish? Rounded out by Duhaney, who tracked back desperately quickly and concedes the corner kick.
Well, again, they're taking chances back there. That time, Duhaney was hoping for an offsides, but I didn't see it that way. And again, as you can see, the Crew dominating this game. Even though the score is 2-1, they seem that when the game is going its natural flow, they can methodically and tactically go through the Mutiny defense.
Gilmar. Gilbert. Keep hold of the ball, the deflection. The shot by Gilbert. Doherty has it. 15 minutes left to go. Jacek Gilbert, have to be said, Jay, has struggled to make his mark in this match.
He has. There were flashes there, and the only real impact that he's had is he's had some nice passes where he switched the point of attack. But his ability to get the ball and take people on, it certainly hasn't happened so far.
Looks pass, trying to thread the needle. Kinnear, who scored the Tampa Bay goal moments ago. After Lassiter was foiled by Doherty from the spot. Steve Ralston for the Mutinies. They try to pick up the pace and the aggression, but 14 minutes left to go. We're lining up in the middle. Doherty stays, and that was a sensible decision. 4 goals for the goalkeeper. Home opener against the two-time defending MLS champion DC United on Saturday, the 4th of April at 7:30. The fun begins at 6 in the Northwest parking lot as QFM and Channel Z present the Crew Kicker Party with Bill Hu performing live music. The first 10,000 fans inside the stadium will receive a mini soccer ball courtesy of MasterCard. And the Crew sticking with the game plan. It has not been a defensive performance at all by Columbus, not sitting back and sucking up the pressure. Not that there's been much Tampa Bay pressure aside from the last few minutes. Sturgeon on the turn. Going to work the move with Varziha. Varziha, the Polish rifle.
Wide right, goal kick, Tampa Bay.
Maximum efficiency tonight.
He needs to have his scope recalibrated. Not having to be done with striking the ball clean, but I am impressed with Stern and his ability to hold the ball up on top there. Right into his feet, even though there's a defender all over him, he's able to keep possession of the ball.
Up goes Ralston for the head challenge for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. Long ball out of defense by Mike Lappert. And a wasted ball, a chase for Ravelli. Here's Frank Yallop. No sign of any additional switches by John Kowalski, the coach of the Tampa Bay Mutiny. With the 1 halftime change for Gilmar, the Brazilian, replacing Josh Keller. Here's Gilmar. Playing on the left side of midfield, trying to work the combination with Kinnear. Away by Clark, only as far as Duhaney. Now Jober. That sends Jober in. Free kick. By Clark was of an illegal nature.
This is a dangerous spot of the field here now.
Kinnear takes it short. Gilmar trying the shot. Always ambitious.
On the end line, goal kick, Columbus Crew.
The opportunity is wasted by Gilmar. Columbus still with the advantage in terms of shots on goal. It's 5-0 at the end of 45 minutes. 8-5 now. A bit of a Tampa Bay revival in the last 10 minutes or so. A chase for Mike Duhaney, being pressured on the way by little Billy Thompson. Ralston has it. Erickson. Kinnear. Gilmar trying to beat Clark to the ball. Here's Jober. A man from Poland. Jacek Jober. Jober gets it back from Lassiter. Looking for support to arrive in the middle. Still Jober. A deep cross, and it might be a useful one. Back it goes to Erickson. John Erickson trying to time a shot here. Now Doherty will see shots like that come his way during the final 11 minutes of this match.
Well, again, they're playing very, very sort of naked at the back here. I see Frankie Yallop every chance he can. In fact, he's even in the field of play now. Will actually follow the midfielders up to gain that advantage. So it's actually even at the time.
Long ball by Kinnear. It's a good one. Here's Haydock on the right. Can he cut it back? Away by Mike Clark. Back it comes. Kinnear's there. Yeagley gets there ahead of it. High, helpful ball by Yallop. Out comes Doherty. Fists the ball away. Erickson has it. Better spell this for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. Kinnear going in for the loose ball. Yallop's there. Not normally the man in scoring position. With respect to the experienced captain of the Mutiny.
It looks like they're going to pull out all the stops now. They're going to bring Dominic Clounier out, the defensive midfielder, and put in an attacking player, Alan Crampton.
Crampton, the super sub, will come into the match. He made 12 substitute appearances last season. 12 starts as well. Moonlights with a rock band known as Down Escalator. And puts CD in the works.
Yes, he pushed Steve Ralston into the center of the field, and he's going to attack from this flank here. So it's going to be very dangerous back at the back line of the Crew. However, up top, Stern and Bryan are going to be one-on-one.
And here is Stern John with a pass. Look at this. So much space. Barzia, can he finish? Goodness. The goal was at the mercy of Robert Barzia, but he was unable to make it count. And surely that would have settled the issue.
Oh, it would have. You've got to wonder, was he intimidated by Ravelli there? Because he's got to be able to finish that.
47 caps for Robert Barzia. This is third season with the Columbus Crew. Hasn't been completely on top of his game tonight, although some nice touches, nice combinations. Stern John now tearing away from the defense. Tampa Bay clearly gambling. Rolling the dice just a little bit. Understandable under the circumstances. Here's Crampton.
Out of play through in Columbus Crew.
Far from happy with Crampton. Inside the final 9-minute spell, can the Crew hang on and record an opening night triumph here in Tampa Bay? Stern John lays it on, lays it on. Billy Thompson's inside the box. Thompson lays it back to Stern John over heavy traffic. And cleared away by Haydock. Can Lassiter get to the ball here? He can. Good pass to Gilmar. And the defensive tackle exposed. Jober has it. Not the speediest. But plenty of cunning when you talk about Jober. Lapper able to get back in this throwing.
Yes, good recovery there by Lapper. And again, you have to be ever careful of that quick break by the Tampa Bay Mutiny.
Jober takes the throw in. Alan Prampin trapping the ball inside the box. Away by Clark, combining with Lapper. Only as far as Duhaney. The rookie of the year in 1997. Billy Thompson intelligently taps it out of play. And Duhaney takes the throw himself. Linking with Prampin. Now Erickson. Ralston. Still Steve Ralston. Charged down. Good job by Lapper, the sweeper. Lapper, the libero. There he is again, forcing it forward for Stern John. Unable to direct the pass accurately for John to go after, but this is a very porous Tampa Bay defense. Not surprising under the circumstances. They need to gamble. But there's acres of room out there for Stern John when the opportunity presents itself. Here he is again. Look at this. Wide open Varzija. And if only John had been able to find Varzija, the Polish rifle would have had a chance to attack for the earlier miss. Now he deals it to John. Virtually no defense to speak of for Tampa Bay as Ravelli scurries off his line and taps it out.
Getting good opportunities here, but you can see his touch and his rhythm is just off. I don't know, maybe he's a player that needs to play more time to play in, but he is finding the spaces. They're finding him, but he is unable to really get himself free for that last half step that he can get a shot off.
Maestro Marcelo Carrera getting ready perhaps to come into the match. Clay Hall with an update on the field.
In for midfielder Robert Varzija.
It's the hot news from the technical area. Clay Hall with the update. Marcelo Carrera will replace Varzija, it seems. There's Varzija laying it back. Might count to John. John. Great move by John. Couldn't apply the finish after completely bamboozling the Tampa Bay Mutiny defense.
Oh, he's frustrated. Look at him. He said, I cannot believe I had all these chances. If he's in practice, he has a basket full of goals at this moment. But patience. It's a long season, and the combination play here is looking very good for the crew.
It'll be the Polish rifle taking a seat. The Argentine Maestro making his way onto the field. Marcelo Carrera, now 35 years of age, the Buenos Aires native. With 7 goals in 53 games for the Columbus Crew, and a useful weapon to have coming off the bench. The Mutiny still believe they're in with a shout here. Jober, there's a spring in the step of the Mutiny players now. There wasn't there earlier in the match. But Columbus survived. For their part, Columbus with a lot of space at the other end of the field. Jober's feed as he switches on to the right flank. Can he keep it in play? The answer is no. Lassiter keeps on playing, but the ball was certainly over the byline. Gilmar knows it. No one else on the field appeared to know it. Gilmar, the Brazilian who came off the bench at the start of the second half. Replaced Josh Keller. Mark Doherty, very tidy between the posts tonight, making his Columbus Crew debut.
Great job. As I said earlier, trying to find a place where he made a mistake. Big debate over that penalty kick that was made against him as he gave a little shoulder charge to Frankie Hayden.
You see his stats good against Kansas City, so 2 wins out of 2. They would have had an MLS chance. The last week, Miami now 3-2 over the Kansas City Wizards. Brian McBride, great job, but unable to keep the ball in play. Thought he might have had his shirt tugged as he jousted it out with Alan Prampin. McBride is getting the first goal of this game 1 minute from halftime. We have just over 4 minutes left to go. Alan Prampin for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. It's all or nothing now for the home club. Mike Duhaney with the long angle pass. Doherty says, Michael, eat and drink. High clearance into the night sky. Stern John trying to get up the end of this cross, and just wide. Long ball from Doherty, but a cross for the difference.
Plays so much older than what he is, Stern. I remember seeing him play for Trinidad 2 years ago. I thought he was about 22, 23 years old. He was like 19 years old, playing for their full team.
Jober has it. Might let fly here. A bad effort by Jober. Plenty of power. Lost it on the volley. Haydock. A lost cause for Frankie Haydock. The Crew Cab Kids Club, presented by Huntington Banks, Adidas, Kroger, Health South, and Grand Riverside Methodist Hospitals, is the coolest club in Major League Soccer. Our members receive many great benefits like a t-shirt, discounts on Crew tickets, special events with Crew players, and chances to win valuable prizes such as trips. Call 221-CREW for details. 3 minutes left to go. Carrera, John is down, play continues, makes it off with the pass. Carrera again, and now McBride, can he keep going? Yallop robs him of the ball. A late substitution in the offing. Let's go down to the field to Clay.
Derek Rob Smith going in for Brian McBride. They want some fresh legs late in this ball game, play a little keep away and seal the win.
Play it right back.
There you heard it, Smithy play right back.
Right, Smithy, get in there and play right back.
Brian McBride will depart the scene.
Substitution for the Columbus Crew.
With a goal in the Columbus Crew in the final minute of the first half.
Replacing him will be number 16, Rob Smith.
Certainly earned his stripes tonight. And Rob Smith comes off the bench, the 24-year-old from Wilmington, Delaware. Former University of South Carolina player. Made 17 appearances as a substitute last season. He was the Iron Man off the bench.
They seem to slide into a 4-back system now to try and finish off this game with 2.5 minutes to go.
Will it be a winning start to the season for Columbus, or can Tampa? Now the late charge. Billy Thompson coming up with the ball. Still Thompson. Chases on. Thompson happy enough to a few more seconds on the game clock. 137, 136, 135 left to go here in Tampa Bay. Remember, games that end all even after 90 minutes go to the shootout in Major League Soccer. Columbus hoping to avoid that now as Mazonoff is taken out. Steve Ross was the man who made the offending challenge.
They'll take their time putting this into play. Time clicking down here, about 1 minute and 40.
It'll be Mike Clark to take the free kick. Carrera has lined up left edge of the penalty area. Wide open at the moment. Instead it goes shorter to Stern John. John on the swivel. Back it goes. Clark. Thompson wide to the right. Looks instead for Stern John and straight at Ravelli. John looking for the clincher. Instead Ravelli locks it downfield with 1 minute and 15 seconds officially left on the scoreboard clock. One last charge, maybe for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. Frankie Haydock trying to veer his way infield. Haydock again. No shortage of energy. Big clean tackle by Carrera, but it falls the way of Duhaney. The Crew trying to sweep up 50 seconds left to go. A tightly packed Crew defense here, facing Jober. Gets at Jober, turning and twisting, looking for the free kick. They'll be lucky to get it. Still going in for the challenge. The referee finally gives the decision to land the Columbus Crew. Mazonoff taking the tumble. The clock continues to run. And Jober, a picture of frustration.
Yes, they just ran out of time. Too little, too late for the Tampa Bay Mutiny. They certainly applied more pressure. They played considerably better the second half, but it doesn't look like it was going to be enough.
Ravelli has it, comes way out of his area. The referee doesn't catch that. 9 seconds left. We're counting down, I'm sure, back in Columbus. A miserable opening for Tampa Bay. Not so for the Columbus Crew. This one goes in the book as a 2-1 opening night victory for Mark Doherty and the Columbus Crew. And Mark Doherty is our Huntington Banks player of the game for a valiant performance between the posts.
Well deserved. I tell you, he was under the gun a few times, almost like the pilot of a plane, just periods of boredom, but then the excitement at takeoff and landing.
First victory of the season for Tom Fitzgerald. He's with Clay Hall.
All right, thank you very much, Tom Fitzgerald, the toast of Tampa and Columbus, the former University of Tampa head coach, getting it done here tonight. You played a hunch with Mark Doherty in goal, and it paid off.
Yes, we did. I'm a little surprised he gave up that penalty, but hey, the guys hung in there.
I'm not pleased with the way we played the second half. We lost a little bit of a composure, got a little fitness work to do, but I'm sure happy to get the win in the first game.
You shoot BBs, the national teamers, Brian and Brian, get it done.
Yes, they get it done for us. Stern came in. A lot of guys got some time. We can build on this, and it's great to get 3 points under our belt the first game.
No question about it. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you very much.
And the Crew goes to Dallas next week with confidence off this 2-1 win here tonight. Back upstairs to Derek.
So there it is, a 2-1 victory. Columbus now defeating Tampa Bay 4 games in a row. Mark Doherty, a big part of the triumph against his own teammates. We'll be back with more from Houlihan Stadium here on 6 Sports in just a moment.
These hands have held a beating heart. These hands have successfully completed over 1,500 open heart surgeries. These hands have turned over 65,000 pages of medical journals. These hands can perform open heart surgery through an opening no bigger than this. These hands you can trust.
This is where I work. These are my co-workers. Those are my customers. And that's me. Employee number 8. I make baskets.
Major League Soccer presents the MasterCard First Kick 98 promotion. Gear up for the start of the 1998 MLS season and be prepared to save with MasterCard at a participating Champs Sports store. Get 10% off on all MLS merchandise and enter for a chance to kick out an opening game ball or win a trip to France for World Cup 98. It's your call, but make sure you pull out the right card. MasterCard First Kick 98. Call 614-221-CREW to catch the Columbus Crew take on DC United Saturday, April 4th.
Riverside Sports Medicine, for the athlete in everyone.
Dear Mom, having a wonderful time. Wish you were here. Love, Brian.
Major League Soccer. The stuff kicks.
Need cash? Come to CheckSmart for a payroll advance up to $500. Open 7 days a week. Convenient locations near you. Need cash? Come to CheckSmart for a payroll advance up to $500. Open 7 days a week. Convenient locations near you.
Columbus Crew Soccer has been brought to you by Adidas, by Grand Riverside Methodist Hospitals, by Huntington Banks, and by Health South. The Crew are now 3-0 in season openers. A 2-1 victory tonight, well-deserved, over the Tampa Bay Mutiny, thus tying the series at 7 apiece. Columbus, the dominant team, as Tom Fitzgerald said, just a shaky patch in the second half as they allowed Tampa Bay back into the match. But goals by Brian McBride and Brian Mazonoff enough to secure the victory. There you see our Health South post-game stats. Columbus with 22 shots to Tampa Bay's 18. A lot of the Tampa Bay shots in the dying seconds. 9 shots on goal to 5. Fairly clean game at all with only 25 fouls committed, Jay Miller.
Well, it was a little bit of a shaky start by both of them. Here we get a chance to see the first goal.
Brian McBride receiving the feed from Billy Thompson. That's our WSYX play of the game. Tough to see from that angle. The question was he onside? Of course, the instructions are out. The officials told to keep the flag down if in doubt, and certainly we were in doubt on that occasion.
We were in doubt, and there is an answer. No, he was not offsides because the flag did not go up. The ball went in net, and very pivotal goal there, just coming in the last minute of the first half.
The Mutiny fans making their way to the exits, far from happy with this opening night showing. Clearly Tampa Bay minus Carlos Valderrama has a lot of work to do. So 2-1 is how it finishes tonight here in Tampa Bay. For Clay Hall and Jay Miller, this is Derek Ray saying so long from the Houlihan Stadium.